5:01, I'm calling the meeting to order. This is the Personnel Committee. My name is Ravian Farias. And in attendance, we have Maria M.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here.
And then Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I just entered in Judy. Judy, she's coming in. Hey, Judy, we're taking roll call, so you just have to say here. So Judy Williams?
Here.
Okay. All right. So approve the minutes from November 10th personnel meeting. So that's the second page. And I'm just going to share screen from the packet here. So these are the minutes. Any comments, questions?
Well, I would move to accept them if I can do that, since I did them myself.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
Call for a vote, Ravian.
All right.
Call for a vote, Ravian.
Oh, sorry. Everyone in agreement of the minutes to be approved? Aye.
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 Okay. And if nay, it's a nay or abstain. There's no one to abstain. Okay. So the nay or abstain. There's no one to abstain. Okay. So the minutes are approved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So next item on the agenda is the discussion of the potential personnel strategies for 2022 and beyond. So Jennifer, I'm going to allow privileges to sharing so you can take over.
There's something I have to do. Let's see. Is there anything I have to do on my end?
No, you should be able to, on the bottom of your screen, there should be a green button that says share screen. And so you click on that. Okay.
Okay. So I just sent a little bit ago over 6 spreadsheets. The first one, which is 2022 staffing, that's what we have right now, assuming no changes. So if you look through it, I think I may have given you guys a copy. If not, here it is.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look through it, at the bottom, you'll see, okay, here's our projections, full-time wages, part-time wages, and full-time wages, part-time wages, and then progress to market for full-time, progress to market for part-time, and then the total, the grand total. So this is, again, assuming no changes. You go to staffing scenario number. This is, again, making some changes. At the bottom, I kind of notated what I did, which this second staffing scenario was to eliminate the salary increases and progress to market increases, and then drop our part-time reference librarian to 16 hours a week. And so by doing that, we would save $27,255.
Okay, can I just ask a question? Number one, can we even get rid of the progression to market and COLA, or is that dictated by the city? And number two, is there a reason we're looking at staffing changes? Are we above budget? And if so, by how much for where we are in our budget?
Well, it's not so much that we're over in 2022, because we're using a lot of our fund balance to fund some of our capital expenses. But I'm looking almost beyond 2022, because I think we have to start figuring out a way to rein in expenses, and 67% of our budget is personnel. So these are just some ideas that the personnel committee can think about and then eventually recommend to the library board, whether it's just stay where we are or, move forward with some of these changes. Does that make sense?
In my mind, the library personnel are essential to our services. I understand they're a huge expense, but they are essential to the services we provide. And if there's a way that we think that we can improve services or stay the same and have efficiencies, I think that's great. If there's things that we think are redundant, but I'm not sure, at least in my mind, if I would be cutting personnel for the sake of cutting personnel. Does that make sense, Maria and Arabian?
It does. And
Yeah.
Jennifer, I remember going through this in the budget process, that the increase that we requested from the city doesn't even cover our personnel increases for this year. Now it's going to work. This year I meant 2022. It's gonna work, and generally you can shuffle the budget around for a lot of other expenses, but we can't use fund balance to pay salaries. So we have to make sure that the personnel, the personnel numbers are within what they're giving us in the budget, and that is a huge concern, and that is another reason why we want to make sure that when Jennifer submits it, so that they can see that their increases aren't even covering the mandatory staff increases for the civil service employees that we have at the library. So, that was an issue this year, and that's something that we need to make sure, Jennifer, the finance part makes sense to you, Judy.
Well, and to answer the COLA increase and the progress to market, the Common Council would have to take action on those items, but the library board could request to the Common Council that this happen in order to help us save money. Maybe it would also kind of open their eyes to our situation.
Right.
Well, what Maria said makes sense to me, but I guess my point is, look, I know they don't cover, they haven't covered it for years, right? Like, we request the increase and it's not covering it, right? Like, we request the increase and it's not covering it. And by decreasing staff, aren't we just buying into what they're saying, which is we're not going to cover this and you need to decrease staff, versus they're being proactive and saying, we've looked at this. This is what we need. These are the services that we need, and presenting that to them proactively. I'm just worried if we make a recommendation about cutting with just because we think we need to cut expenses without really looking at what services they're providing, that is going to justify they're not covering the salaries. So I don't know, maybe that's a naive view, but I'm a little worried that we're not thinking about what the needs are and then making the cuts, and at the same time buying into their viewpoint, which is you have sufficient staff. I think Mike Karlevich, when he was president, was always of the viewpoint that when you look at our staff as compared to other libraries, of that, Jennifer, as part of your discussion of the scenarios. I mean, look, if you got a scenario and you think it makes sense, right, that because of efficiency reasons, we don't need this person anymore, I'm all for that. But I don't want to be in a situation where we're cutting services because the city decided not to give us as much money as we want.
So,
Well, our budget this year was, our increase for personnel was 48,000. We got 10,000 from the city.
Okay, why was it 48,000? What led to that $48,000 increase?
The COLA increases, the progress to market increases, and the fact that they're now giving the increases in January as opposed to July.
But I thought your sheet that was $6,000. Am I right? I can't put the sheet
For
down.
progress to market, yes.
Okay, what's the COLA?
2%.
Okay, so how much money is that?
48,000 is what.
The COLA is the 48,000?
No, I mean, our total personnel increases for pension, health insurance, salary, That all increased by 48,000.
Okay, so it wasn't that we added anybody, it was the pension increases and the insurance that they bought for us resulted in $48,000 in increases.
Mm-hmm. The
Okay,
fact that we are now giving increases in January as opposed to July probably did have a lot. I mean, this was a pretty big increase.
So have we had any discussions like with anybody at the city about the effect on the budget and the fact that this is actually a reduction in budget for us?
Yes, I have talked with Peggy about that.
Okay, and what did Peggy say in response to that?
That we need to use our fund balance.
We can't use our fund balance for salaries.
We can't, but we can use it.
We can't use our fund balance for salaries.
We can't, but we can use it. She said you can use your fund balance for other things.
Okay, but that doesn't, I think, Maria, that you need to have a discussion with Peggy.
Right.
Because what she said to Jennifer does not make any sense. Because we can use our fund balance for capital expenditures. Fine, we do that this year. Capital expenditures. Fine, we do that this year. They've added $48,000. That's never coming off. It is progressive. There's going to be an additional $48,000 in every subsequent budgetary year. So I really think it is important that somebody have a discussion with the city about this isn't viable. This does not make sense. And we can't just keep using a fund budget for response. I think there needs to be a frank discussion about that.
Yep. I will do that. Also, Jennifer, scenario 1 to scenario 2, it was my understanding that there were no staffing cuts other than Laura's. You were changing her hours, but were you getting Laura's? You were changing her hours, but were you getting rid of staff at that point other than our weekend maintenance person?
Are you talking about the number 2?
Yeah, between the number 1 and the number 2, there weren't staffing. I mean,
that was just eliminating the progress to market.
I mean,
that was just eliminating the progress to market and COLA and dropping Laura.
Right.
Down to 10
so
hours
just
a week.
to go back to Judy's, concern about eliminating services, I don't think I don't think we will have to decrease people in the building providing services other than Laura making sure she sticks to the 10 hours. So I think we should be okay with that part. So I know Jennifer and it was either Peggy or Dana arranging job positions and Jennifer, you're gonna have to help me out here with
reclassifying
some new, reclassifying. Thank you. Reclassifying some of our positions due to the ability to, and as we hire new people, not bringing them in at the same levels or something like that.
Right. Well, I'm getting to that. That's one of the.
Okay.
Yeah. Before we go on to that, on the 2% COLA and the other market adjustments, those are going into effect January 1, right?
Yeah, they are. Right.
How are we going to stop those from going into effect? We have to make a recommendation to the city council to have to act on them. That's not going to happen between now and January 1.
Well, I mean, again, we covered next year. I'm kind of looking ahead. Next year's kind of a done deal. Our budget was passed. I mean, we could make some personnel changes. To save money next year, but I'm really kind of looking ahead. And these are just kind of, sorry. My light goes off in here. These are just ideas, this will just give you a park of how much we could save if we implemented these changes in future years.
And maybe it would be good to involve, maybe somebody from the finance committee also going in. If I set up a meeting with Peggy, maybe it could be myself and presenting it that way. So
another.
Jennifer, the ones you sent us are just lots of different versions of what could be used.
Yeah.
Okay. Be used.
Yeah.
Okay.
This scenario is dropping Laura again, eliminating the shelvers, maybe having the library assistants pick up. I'm just throwing ideas out for you guys to think about. I'm not endorsing one idea over another. I'm just trying. I'm not endorsing one idea over another. I'm just trying to say, look, this is what we could do if we had to. The library assistants could take over some shelving. We could keep our pay increases in progress to market, and we would save $39,902. And these are based on 2022 costs.
Okay.
Number 5 would be just to eliminate one library assistant position through attrition or layoff. And then add, if we did, I've talked to Maureen and she feels she could make it with 8 library assistants. It would be difficult when we had vacations or sick time. So we thought if we added in 4 hours a week in our budget of money that we could pay extra to work extra to cover those vacancies or those vacations and sick time, that this is doable without a lot of hurt. And then the last one for you guys to just think about. And then the last one for you guys to just think about. And this is what this was kind of Dana's idea. Oh, yes.
Are you trying to show us different ones? Because on the screen is the first one still.
Oh, that's weird because on my
The screen is the first one still.
Oh, that's weird because on my screen it's the.
So if you shared application, it's the same application, but if you share screen, then you can keep changing whatever you want in that screen.
Okay, now can you see it?
Yeah, now we can see it. Now the 6th one we can see.
Okay. Did you see any of the other ones then?
No.
We only saw the first one.
Okay. This one was to drop Laura Manuelson to 12 hours a week and then reclassify 4 library assistants to what Dana called library assistants, which would be library assistants that had less responsibilities than our current library assistants. And that way you could, still maintain the bodies.
Right.
The problem that I see with this is that we would have 3 different classifications of personnel and circulation, and do we want that?
Right.
Can I ask, what is from your most extreme scenario to the current, what is the actual cost savings?
The most extreme?
Yeah.
Was about 40,000.
Cost savings.
The most extreme?
Yeah.
Was about 40,000.
Okay. And that's the last scenario where you have the different classifications?
That was one of the ones before this one. This is kind of a gentle one. Well, okay. It wouldn't necessarily be gentle. Create morale issues because we would have to choose the 4 library assistants that would get bumped down.
Well, and that was the other thing. So under one of these scenarios, it's not just affirmatively making changes as people are hired. It is going to current employees and decreasing their pay.
Right. We can't do
Which would do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't think that's an option at all. Did you want to show us? Can you go back?
Mm-hmm.
So do you have 2 screens or you only have 1 screen?
I only have 1 screen.
Oh, okay. So 2 is 27,000.
This is number 2. Yeah, this is number 2. And these are in the spreadsheets I sent to you if you want to look them over later. But this was eliminating the salary increases and progress to market increases, dropping Laura Manuelson to 10 hours a week.
Okay.
Saving $27,255.
Well, I think, and I know you're going to show us that last one also, but I
$1,255.
Well, I think, and I know you're going to show us that last one also, but I was from the beginning. If the city is not getting, we give. the civil service employees. And so that is the first point that I will bring up with the city, with Peggy. You know, I didn't realize that was happening because I didn't know from last year being on the personnel committee what that first of all, and give us some, you know, some reason and some explanation, and they can't tell us to use our fund balance for other things and then expect us then to make up that salary increase that they're demanding we give but not funding. So about, and that's been happening for years, as far as you've told me, Jennifer, right? That that the civil service increases are really not optional for us. It's only like, I mean, we can't, unless there's some well, I don't even know, but I mean, isn't that
you can go to the Common Council. Yes, there is some recourse. You could go to
Okay.
the Council.
Okay.
And you could ask them to separate out the library and not, and I'm not saying I'm endorsing that at all.
Right.
It's
Right.
there. It's an option. Endorsing that at all.
Right.
It's
Right.
there. It's an option. Not saying it's a good option.
Well, because if we separate the library out, then are we on our own for benefits and all that kind of stuff too?
No, you would
No,
just be,
okay.
no, you would just be separating them out from when the Common Council votes. Because the Common,
okay.
no, you would just be separating them out from when the Common Council votes. Because the Common Council always votes on the raises
Gotcha.
and the progress to market.
Yeah.
You would just say, okay, we would like the library staff excluded
Gotcha.
from that.
I don't know.
Again, morale issue.
Right. I was going to say, we're not going to not give people raises, right? I mean, that's not right.
Okay, I think, okay, so this one I just showed you. Can you see my screen?
Well, it's the same one, I believe. Jennifer, is there any more talk about you guys consolidating the desk situation into one central desk? Okay, now we see a new one here. Right, okay.
Of patron service, because you would always have somebody at the desk to direct people.
Okay.
But we'd still have to have the same, I mean, we still have to have a number of them. So number 5 is eliminating one library assistant position through attrition or layoff, and then add in the 4 hours a week of overage contingency. We talked about that one. So that would save almost 19 in 2022 dollars.
What was the fourth one? You don't have to bring it up, but what was the fourth one?
I'd probably have to bring it up just to. Can you see that?
I see
Still
your
a menu page.
desktop.
Since I'm screen sharing, but you don't see it.
No.
You're screen sharing your folder, but you haven't opened it, or at least it doesn't look like you opened your folder, but you haven't opened it, or at least it doesn't look like you opened it.
You're asking about number 4?
Mm-hmm.
That was eliminating the shelvers.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't think that would be.
As a cost saving measure, And 2 years later, they went back and hired shelvers.
Yeah.
So I'm not,
Yeah, but you were presenting it as an option, sure.
I mean, the library assistants could take over shelving, but it's,
Okay,
or volunteers, but that's not ideal.
no,
Okay.
And then the last one was just the reclassification of some of the library assistants to library assistant twos, which was the smallest savings anyway. Because it's really, by dropping them one classification, it's only saving us like $1.31 an hour in $22, which is about $5,800. So
Okay.
it's just, I wanted to present these as just ideas, to think about. I'm not, I agree. I don't want to do any of these. I would rather have the city fund us.
Okay.
all right.
So we'll consider those. So are you able to stop sharing screen? So Maria, you're just gonna make a meeting with Peggy, with the one of the finance people to try to get an answer to this.
Right.
I
Okay.
mean, can I be included in that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I'll talk to Jennifer first and we'll come up with the plan. She's got all those spreadsheets and she has spoken already to Peggy and Dana, and she can, bring me and whoever else in, and just as,
Okay. I think all of those have issues.
Exactly.
So hopefully there's a solution that'll be better for the library.
Yeah.
Okay, so any more points on that, or can I move to the next piece? Okay, so Jennifer attached in the packet her new job description. It's on pages 3 through 5, so I'm going to scroll down.
Jennifer, were there major, because I didn't get a chance to look through this real closely, but what would you consider your major either additions or subtractions from this?
Well,
or did you just do a lot of small tweaking?
No, I did kind of a major.
Yeah,
I rewrote it. The 2012 one wasn't very, I don't know.
Right.
The 2012 one wasn't very, I don't know.
Right.
Now, yeah.
Okay.
Some of it was making presentations to the, library board, common council, other boards and commissions, civic groups, and general public. The marketing, engaging community leaders and other stakeholders, and building strong relationships, which I think is important.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have the old one in front of me now. I guess I kind of do, but just to put them side by side to see what, the changes.
What up? I just want to see it 1 second. Sorry, it's not where I thought it was. This is the old one. I'll try to do a side by side so you can see them. 1 second. Stop sharing. Old one. Try to do a side by side so you can see them. 1 second. Stop sharing.
Jennifer, I'm going to give you a math test because it says you can do fractions and decimals and ratios and all that percentages. Ratios and all that percentages.
I believe that stuff is included in a lot of the job description.
I'm sure. Yeah, I just think that's funny, but yeah.
Okay. About the one that's in Google is the old one. And then this is her new one.
I think that, and again, I haven't read it word for word, but I did a pretty thorough, comprehensive and detailed enough, but, also open enough that, So this also needs to be approved by the board then, I assume? Since the first one or the most recent one was approved, so should we add it to the board packet in lieu of the policy review this month or this month? Or what do you guys?
So to the whole library board or this committee?
Well, that's the question. The one from 2012 was approved by the Franklin Public Library Board of Trustees. So as a committee, we could make the recommendation to approve it, but I think it has to be approved by the Board of Trustees.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be approved by the board. It cannot be approved by us.
Right.
That is out having the board approve it.
Right.
Basically, you would just be making recommendations.
Right.
Recommendation.
I guess that's what I was saying, the way that the other committees have been functioning with the things that they've done. They make the recommendation and then
the board approved it. Okay. So Maria, will you present it at the next meeting or?
Well, do you guys feel like that we could submit this for approval? Judy and Ravian, do you think you feel comfortable with what's here that we could submit it, or that we could submit this for approval? Judy and Ravian, do you think you feel comfortable with what's here that we could submit it, or
I feel like I would need to look at it a little more and
Okay.
compare. And so I wouldn't be ready for December. I don't know if it has to be for December. I don't know if it has to be approved by then.
I don't think so, no. And I would agree with you.
I would really like the old one emailed to me as well, so I can take a look at the old one and the new one.
Okay. I happen to have.
I can send it.
Can you send that to Judy at least?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe we can take a look at it, and then maybe if at one of our upcoming meetings when we meet with Jennifer to give her the review, we could quick,
Well, are we getting after the board looks at the evaluations to do final goals that we're going to present to Jennifer? And
That's true.
Yeah.
So then we could talk about it then.
We could talk about this then. Okay.
yeah,
Doesn't that give us enough time to have looked at both of them
Yep.
to compare? Okay.
Good idea.
Perfect. Any other comments on that? Otherwise, we can let Jennifer exit whenever she's ready.
Yep, I can go.
Okay, great. Thank you. So since this is going to be closed, do I stop recording or
Well, I would make a motion. I guess I will make a motion.
stop recording or
Well, I would make a motion. I guess I will make a motion that the
wait a minute.
personnel-
What are we doing about the computer that's sitting there in the library that anybody could come in right now and sit in front of or listen to?
Right. So that's what I'm asking. Do I stop recording too or no?
Can you what do I want to say? Like kick that computer off? Can you like stop?
Oh, like, yeah.
But then we're gonna have to go back in. Are you able to go back in and
So I can uninvite her, but then I won't be able to bring her back in. I would just uninvite her and then I can pause. Is okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Do you want me to uninvite her? Because I can remove her from the meeting, but I won't be able to bring her back. She's got to, let's see.
Well, I think somebody's have to send her an email saying, we'll let you know when you need to put the
Well,
computer
I can quick call her here in her office.
Okay, I'm going to remove her from the meeting right now, though.
Okay, and then I can just tell her, ask her if she might be going home, so the librarian I would have to call in or something, technically, just to adjourn the meeting. Is that what we have to do? Technically, just to adjourn the meeting, is that what we have to do?
Yeah, I think we should adjourn it publicly. Okay. We might have a closed session.
Okay, and then I'm going to pause the meeting right now, or the recording.
Well, I think we have to go to closed session first.
I move that we go into closed session.
I second that. I think we have to do a roll call.
So do roll call now that we're in open session or closed session?
People want to go into closed session.
Okay, so we are in closed session and I'm going to do roll call. So
no, you have to do roll call before going into closed session. A roll call before going into closed session to move for closed session.
So before we go into closed session, roll call again. So I'm Ravian Castillo-Farias, and then we have Maria M. Yes.
And I vote yes to go into closed session.
And then Judy Williams.
I vote yes to go into closed session.
Okay, and now we're going to closed session. And so Maria, you weren't going to call her?
She wasn't to her desk yet, so I will call the library.
Okay, I'm going to pause recording.
Yes.
Again.
Okay.
So we're back in open session. I have to take roll call again. And so I have Maria M.
Here.
Judy Williams, and then
Here.
Jennifer Lawful. Yes, Jennifer? Yep. Okay.
I'm here.
So we need to discuss when are we going to meet again. And so as a committee, we would like to meet again in January to discuss the job description in January, to discuss the job description and any feedback we got from the overall board from the December meeting. And then afterwards, we need a meeting to meet with Jennifer to go over all the information. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So do you guys want to take a look at your calendars?
Yeah, I'm pretty free except for Tuesday nights.
Okay.
Mondays have been working good didn't we meet Monday the last time also?
I think so.
Or Wednesday? I don't know.
Wednesday, I think.
Wednesday. Okay, well, there you go. Monday, I mean, really, except for Tuesdays.
Just having an issue with my calendar coming up. Okay. So
Judy, do you have any conflicts?
It just depends on the day. If you tell me what you're looking at, I'll look.
Gotcha.
I could probably do, I don't know if this is too early for you guys, like January 4th. Can you guys do that?
That'll work for me.
That's fine for me.
Okay. So January 4th, 5 p.m. Zoom for us to talk. Is that okay? We could probably do a quick turnaround to do Jennifer's meeting in person. Is that okay? And so for you, Jennifer, Maria, are you available during the day or no? Or
Me? Oh yeah, during the day is fine. Sometimes Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, which late afternoon is hard.
is the library open? Like at 10? Is that
10 a.m.
I don't know if this is too quick for you, but like doing January 6th, like at 10 a.m. Is that okay?
Can you do something like that, Judy?
So it would only be for us to meet with.
Yeah, I was
Jennifer.
just saying, do you need me to be there for that?
Well, we didn't last year. I remember not all of us were
I think we just had the head of the personnel committee and then the head of the board.
Yeah, okay,
That's
yes.
what we normally did.
Yeah.
So the 6th is that would be a
A
Thursday.
Thursday
or
in the
Wednesday.
morning. A Thursday morning. Is that
Or,
okay? Or
Is that a Thursday? That would be a
a
Thursday.
Thursday
or
in
a
the
Wednesday.
morning? A Thursday morning. Is that
Or,
okay? Or
Is that a Thursday or is that a Wednesday? Is the 4th a
January
Monday?
6th. January 6th is a Thursday. Is that okay? Or no?
Well, hold on a second. Sorry.
Or no?
Well, hold on a second. Sorry.
So for our personnel meeting, it would be January 4th at 5
Okay,
p.m.
the 4th is not going to work. Tuesdays don't work for me. I thought that was a Monday.
Okay.
So the 4th is not going to work. So that's going to interfere with. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. At 5?
Yeah.
Okay. And
And
then
then-
the 6th during the day will be fine.
Okay.
Yes.
Then
I
that's-
can be here as early as, I mean, I'm usually here at 8:30 if
Yeah, I could do 8:30 too.
open meeting.
Right, because we're just giving you your evaluation. I don't think we had an agenda or anything. I think it was just
I can do as early as 8:30, but it's up to
Okay.
you guys. Do you want
8:30 will be
8:30?
fine.
Okay. Okay. Personnel meeting, I'll send the Zoom link. And then on the 6th, we'll meet with Jennifer to go over her evaluation.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
And I move to adjourn the meeting.
Okay. I second it.